You're not gonna believe this. Our new camper van, it's leaking already. Shoot. You save up, you make all the plans, you get so excited. This dream has been a dream of mine for over 10 years and it's finally happening. And then you go and that's the day, you go and pick up your van. You go and pick up your camper van and everything is amazing. And then this happens. Water in places it shouldn't be. We've only taken the van on one trip, we've only spent a few nights in it, and we had definitely braced ourselves for challenges that are gonna come with owning this van. We just didn't think they'd come so soon. And when we went and looked at the van, it was raining on the day, so I do think this is a relatively new problem, which in a way I'm hoping is a good thing because we're gonna get on to fixing it immediately, and hopefully that means that we can stop any further damage from happening. All right, so first of all, we're not talking just about a little bit of water. We're not talking about a few drops. There was a heavy rainfall, and usually there's a mattress here, and we didn't even think to go out and check on the van. We were watching it sitting out there and we were watching the rain, and I even said to Kelsey, is the fan shut? And she said yes, which it was. And so we thought, perfect, that's that. In hindsight, probably should have gone out and just checked it because that was the first heavy rainfall since us owning it. And it was a few days later, we were getting ready to leave on an international trip. And so we had to shuffle around where we were putting cars, where we were putting vans just to make them safe. And we went in and the mattress was soaking, like a huge circle, soaking wet. The cupboards were wet, there's been some water in other places, and our hearts absolutely sank. But we tried to quickly fix it. So I went to the hardware store and spoke to the person there, and we got up on the roof and we put a bit of silicone on it, and that was just really a quick fix because we were leaving the next day to go on an international flight. And so it was just about trying to mitigate and keep as much water out while we were gone if it did rain. And anyway, so once we did leave, we put this bucket here, and there is some water in it that has come through. This has been emptied once since we got back, so there's definitely still water coming in. Probably not as much as what was coming in before we left, so at least that's a good sign. And now I think what needs to happen is we just need to get up onto that roof. I've watched a ton of videos and people talk about removing the cover of the fan. I don't even know if that's an option for us. I don't know what model of fan we have, so I need to see if we can get up there, remove the fan, and then people say just to absolutely silicone the crap out of that to stop any water coming in. People talk about there being bolts, so how this fan is attached into the roof of the van, the bolts can sometimes cause issues and water can get in around there. Apparently there's some other clips as well that can crack, and just over time the silicone can wear and water can start coming in. So I'm really hoping it is just something like that. Kelsey and I are still in a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it an argument, but we're still in a little bit of disagreement with how we should go about fixing it. I want to just leave it how it is and just add extra silicone on. Kelsey wants to do her best to remove all the silicone that's up there, and it is like a lot. It is a lot. So I think that that's going to be really hard to do. Just from a quick research session on Google that I've done, it looks like it's a really challenging job to remove that, and I'm just trying to make it not be more work than it has to be for us. I think the biggest thing here is it's like been this dream for so long. There's been so much excitement around it. You do all the planning, all the preparing. I can't tell you how many different models I looked at when it comes to vans, and you do all of these things. You get ready for trips, you get excited, and then something like this happens and it feels like it just takes all of the wind out of you. That's how I feel anyway. I feel a little bit bummed that this is happening. I feel a little bit annoyed that this is something that we're dealing with. But I know that we'll get through it. I know that we will fix this. I know that water will stop coming in, and then it'll be probably onto the next thing, probably onto the next problem that comes up when we are spending more time in this van. So I guess if nothing else, it's just preparing me and my mind for that day, which is not fun. And I just remember, like, when we brought it home, we were so excited. I slept in the driveway in the van for the first night because I just couldn't wait to do van life and to sleep out amongst the stars. And I can't imagine all the places we're going to get to see in this van. And we were in here just playing around with the buttons, pressing things to learn about the solar. I was reading the manuals to figure out how we take care of the toilet. I was learning about the batteries that we have and how they operate different things in here, and the gas for the stove. And it's just such an exciting time when you first get it, and then for something like this to happen so soon just does feel like a little bit of a blow. So our expectations were just sky high, and then reality hit us. It has a different plan for us. What we're probably looking at is a full replacement of the mattress. Because water got there and then we left it, it's developed a little bit of mold on it, so nobody wants to sleep on mold. And because we are going to be spending so much time sleeping on this bed, it is just a health thing that we don't want that to be moldy. And so we have to figure out exactly what we're going to do, because it looks like the mattress that was in here is actually foam and it's being cut to actually fit perfectly. And so we are far from experts with that, but I'm sort of in my head thinking, how hard can it be to buy a piece of foam and then cut it to size? And it was a really comfy sleep on here the first time that we did take it out, and so I'm hoping to get something similar. Maybe there's even other mattress products out there that we can look at, and making sure that we can have as much of a good night's sleep as possible when we get in the van. But obviously that'll probably be one of the last steps that we do, because first we want to make sure that there's no water coming in so that we don't do any further damage to the mattress that is gonna hopefully not ever get water on it ever again. So I'm not sure how much you can see from back there, but essentially I can already see on this wood part what you would call water damage. Now, I'm not an expert by any means about this stuff, but I can sort of imagine what we need to do. We need to identify where the leak is. So I'm actually thinking, once Kelsey gets home, is we use a hose and we get up there and we spray water, and then someone comes in here. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that this is where the water is coming in, because there is a little bit of water damage on this wood. So it's just deciding now if we do replace this wood panel. I don't know if you need to do that. It doesn't look bad, like I'm not seeing any mold spots. Material that is under here all still looks to be in pretty good condition. So that's our first step. We need to assess the damage and figure out exactly where this leak is coming in, because what can happen is the water can be coming in at the top, it can be pooling somewhere, and then it can be running down into a different area. So I'd like to actually identify where the leak is coming in first, so that we can have a better chance of fixing it. Another thing that we're planning to do obviously is to get up on top, and I'm hoping to take that cover off so that we can actually see if there are some visible spots where either the silicone isn't there anymore, or maybe there's a slight little crack, or maybe there's a soft part that we can see water coming in. Then I think the plan is to get some self-leveling silicone. The stuff that we had bought in the past was clear silicone. That's what the person at the hardware store told me to do. Since that, I've watched so many videos and everyone says just get the self-leveling stuff, and that's what's currently up there. So I think we'll head back to the hardware store, get some self-leveling silicone, and then it is up to us to decide what we're going to do in terms of removal. If we're going to try and remove some of the silicone that is up there, which I don't really like the idea of doing, or if we're just going to silicone over the top. There's been some people that have mentioned to me about a tape. Apparently you can do like a silicone and then you can tape it, which you can just do for a little bit of extra cover. And that is something that I think we will do. So I just need to spend a little bit of time deciding what tape we're going to get, because my understanding is once we put that on, it's pretty on there and pretty hard to remove. So we don't want to just jump into that and tape the whole thing up after doing some silicone and then have to redo any job. That's just going to take longer and be more of a nightmare for us. So I think one of the biggest things here is I don't want to just show the highlight reel. I don't want to just show all the adventures that we're going to go on in this van and make it seem like it's absolutely seamless and perfect, because as you can see, we've been on one trip and already we're faced with some water coming into the van. And so this is not all rainbows and butterflies. I am confident that we are going to get this fixed. I'm hoping it doesn't cost us too much money, and then we'll be able to hit the road again. And so honestly, this is weighing on me a little bit. So I'm just wondering if there's anyone else out there that has purchased something that feels like a big purchase for them, or something that you've poured everything into to have it feel like it's going wrong. I'm genuinely interested if there are some other people out there that know how this feels, because I'd love to connect. And if you have experience fixing things like this, and you know a little tip or a trick that we should consider before we go ahead, jump up on that roof and actually start applying more silicone to the roof, would absolutely love to hear that in the comments below. So for now, this camper van dream has taken an unexpected pit stop, but we are confident we will get straight back to it. We're going to get this fixed and we're going to get back on the road. So I'm hoping that the next video shows exactly how we fixed it, and shows that when we spray so much water up on the top there that nothing comes through. And my fingers are crossed that it's really a quick fix, an easy fix. We don't have to replace too many other things in here, and that we don't find water in other places once we start really looking into it. That is my hope. And so I hope that when we come back here and see you for another video, that we have good news to report.